Hello everyone. Today's lesson is going to be about graphing using x and y intercepts. So what we're going to have to look at today is what exactly the x and y intercepts are, how to find the coordinates of those points, and we're going to be doing that by setting one of the variables to 0. And then we'll use these 2 points, the x and y intercept, to graph the line. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page here with this. This is a very important piece of information. The y-intercept is the point here where our line crosses the y-axis. It's any point along this axis that gets crossed by our line. Okay, and something that's important to note about this point is that anywhere we're on this line, we haven't crawled anywhere in the x direction, right? So anywhere on this line, x is equal to 0. And the same is true of the x-intercept over here. The x-intercept is the point where our line crosses the x-axis, and you'll notice that for any point on that line, we haven't climbed anywhere. We haven't climbed anywhere up or down. So anywhere on this line, y is equal to 0. We're going to use this to help us find these points. And this is where we can see those points in a table of values. Okay, when we have y equaling 0 here, we're at our x-intercept. This point here, 0 minus 2, is this point here. And when x equals 0, we have our y-intercept. That's this point here. Okay, so that's where we find the intercepts in a table of values, that when we have zeros for our x and our y. And I guess what you kind of need to remember here is that when y is 0, that's the x-intercept. And when x is 0, here, that's the y-intercept. Right, so let's put this into practice. Let's find the 2 intercepts of this equation, y equals x plus 0. So I'm going to make a small table of values here, and we're going to have the x equals 0, that's our y-intercept, and y equals 0, that's our x-intercept. And we need to substitute these points into our formula. When x equals 0, we have y equals x plus 2. We substitute in 0, and we end up with y equals 2 when x equals 0. So 2 goes here. And then when y equals 0, we've got y equals x plus 2. 0 equals x plus 2. So now we need to get the x by itself. Remember, back to equations, we do the opposite operation to get the x by itself. And we end up with x equals minus 2. It's always good practice to put the x on the left. So here we put minus 2. So now we have the y-intercept. And the x-intercept. Remember, the intercept and the 0 are reversed. When y is 0, we have the x-intercept. When x is 0, we have the y-intercept. Okay, I want you guys to have a go at this one using the same method I did here. Set x to 0 and set y to 0 and see if you can find the other value. Pause the video, have a go at that, and I'm going to show you the solution when you come back. Okay, so we create our table of values again. we have a point where x equals 0 and a point where y equals 0. When x equals 0, we just put in 0 here. 3 times 0 is 0. So y equals 6. Oh, sorry. Y equals 6. Fairly straightforward. When y equals 0, we've got our equation. It equals 0. So now this becomes an equations question where we have to get x by itself. Minus 6 equals 3x. Now we have to divide by 3. Divide by 3. So we end up with x equals minus 2. That's minus 6 divided by 3. And there we go. We found our intercepts. I want you to have a go at doing that one more time. Practice finding the intercepts. But we're going to use the 2 points that we found this time to sketch the graph. Pause the video, have a go at that, and if you need some help, I will show you the solution when you come back. Alright. When x equals 0, y equals 2 times 0 minus 6, which is minus 6. And when y equals 0, you've got 0 equals 2x minus 6. We've got to get the x by itself. Same process as before. So x equals 3. Okay, so now we're using these points. We're going to plot them on our number plane over here. 0 minus 6. Sorry, that grid is a little confusing. The points are off the grid line. I'm going to put the point on the grid. And x equals 3. Y equals 0. That's this point here. And now we've got our line that goes through those 2 points. And there we go. We've sketched our graph using the x and y intercepts. So you guys are going to practice some questions now. Don't forget to come back to these after you've done a few questions and make sure we're comfortable with knowing what the x and y intercepts are. You should be able to tick that one off right now. And we've done a little practice of these too, but you'll get some more when you answer your questions. Finding the x-intercept, finding the y-intercept, and then using it to graph the line. Thanks, guys.